It's your man DJ Caveman,
DJ Ironmonkey.
Ironmonkey. We back again for another Saturday conversation, episode
Yeah.
83,
Mhm.
Andre Reed episode. For those of
Yeah.
you
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills,
Mhm.
the greatest. Well, it took him so long to get into the Hall of Fame, man. The shit used to make me mad that he would get
Yeah, I don't know
the
why it
Player of
took
the
him
Year.
so long. I don't know why it took him so long. Like it was his fault that they lost four in a row.
Right. Shout
You
out
know?
to shout out to the Buffalo Bills.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
one of the greatest teams to never win Super Bowl,
Mm.
uh, right up there with the Lions and also the Minnesota Vikings, who also went to four straight Super Bowls.
Nah, probably in one of them third world countries, they're probably the best football
They're the
team ever.
champs. They're the champs.
Oh, they're the best.
They're the
Oh,
best.
ain't no team messing with them.
Yo,
I
I
don't
kind of
know.
want to go to I gotta find out where actually it was so long ago though. You probably can't even get those shirts anymore.
Mm.
Like to go to these third world countries and just pick up a shirt for the team that I was rooting for that lost.
Uh,
Have a
yeah, there's
collection.
probably a black market for that too
Have a
on the
collection of
dark web.
you know what? I'm gonna check that shit, man, today and see like how many of these old shirts from the
Uh,
losing team that I could acquire because I feel like one day them shits are gonna be worth some money because nobody has them.
that's like era baseball cards. You know, it's like for me like a spiteful joke is buying like one of those perfect season jerseys for a Patriot fan.
Right, like that type of shit. I just want to have like a bunch of jerseys, a collection of jerseys from the other side because they always make them.
Oh yeah,
Like think about how many titles LeBron would have if you had all the shirts.
that is true.
The dude went
That
to
is
eight straight
true.
finals, so there's at least eight finals T-shirts that have the Cavs as the winner,
Yeah, at least.
at least.
And then the one in Miami.
Yeah,
So to them, he is the king.
right.
You know, so you can't tell him nothing.
LeBron with another title,
Oh shit, he's the king.
right? Like there's so many shirts out there. I'm gonna start trying to find them. I bet they're available somewhere.
Yeah, I bet. You know, there's a market for it. Black web. I'm telling you, you'll
Right.
find it there.
The dark interwebs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Yo, how was your hiatus in between? Uh,
It was pretty cool. You know, had a couple of little adjustments. You know, spent some time with my family, my sister, my nephew, my niece. My son's down in Florida with actually my oldest daughter and her mother and her stepfather. They're down in Florida and they end up linking at the beach. So they spent some time together. So you know, just trying to adjust to this whole daddy dearest lifestyle without my kids. You know, it's different. I don't have nobody to yell at or somebody to run to the store or do the laundry when I don't feel like doing it. So it's an adjustment. Yeah, I'm going back to my younger days when I had to do it.
when they coming back?
Beginning of August. So they're only down there for a little bit of time.
Oh, that's what's up.
But you know, just simple stuff. You know, working on a new podcast idea. Working on some new Daddy Dearest designs for bracelets and well,
Yeah,
more bracelets.
Daddy Dearest
Um,
Designs, baby.
oh yeah, babes.
Daddy Dearest Designs piece. You know what I'm saying? Mine got the headphones on it with the lion head. You can't really
Hmm.
see it on this little camera, but
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I did. I had yours with the lion head, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Holla at the mans. Get yourself a Daddy Dearest Designs. Every episode of the Saturday Conversation is sponsored by Daddy Dearest Designs.
Oh yes.
Hashtag Bead Life. Hashtag Graph Life.
Hmm.
Holla at your man. Get yourself properly set up. You know, they're good quality, high quality. Uh,
Oh yeah.
you know,
And none of it's plastic. And the thing though is that I'll make a design and I'll wear them for even before I put them on market to see what I like and what I don't like about it because I bought this one bead because it's hard to find orange beads. And this one ended up being a dye bead. So I'm like, I can't use that shit. You know, for me, it's not the quality that I want to put out there. So all my shits is real gemstones. So
yeah. I get complimented on my shit every time I leave the house when I rock it. So I've
yeah,
been rocking it more, trying to.
yeah, because you got the midnight blue gold stone. So it got the like the gold shimmer to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the natural bling bling.
shininess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. But how was your week though?
Yeah, man. It was cool, man. It was cool. I was out there, lift is popping again and fucking,
Mm.
so I'm back to shuttling people around to pick up their drugs and shit. Because right now
uh,
nobody's working, right?
mm.
Or a lot of people are not working. So like a lot of the rides have been round trips. Uh,
uh,
you
Yo,
know.
that round trip that you told me about was ill though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like that was like one of the first ones. Um, and then so I've been doing a lot of round trips to help folks, get their medication and
Mm.
just around the house, man. Wedding planning, save the
Mm.
dates, save the dates. I've started to go out.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, I got mine too.
for those who are far away, your shit is in the mail. For those who are local, we will
Mm.
be delivering those upon the weekend. So just to keep
All
an eye out for
right.
the mailbox. We started talking to some vendors.
Mm.
I think we settled down on a DJ and a photographer. So
Ah,
gotta
all
have
right.
some extra meetings with them to like get all the final details in place. But we're moving, man. We're moving. May's fast approaching. Uh,
Yeah.
picked out the suits. We got suits ready to go. Um, it's the hard part of the planning is now happening. Like, and for me, and not that it's like hard to do, but you know, it's a lot of money that we're about to part with too. So that makes it
Mm.
doubly as hard. But also, like, there's a lot of talented people out there that do these jobs, and so
Mm.
searching for the one that you feel like best fits uh, your goal for your wedding. And sometimes it's a financial decision, you know,
Mm.
and sometimes it's like just like this is the best guy who also happens to have the best rate. You know what I'm saying, or the best person.
Yeah, because the thing too is that you want to get somebody that you can hold accountable without feeling like you're putting the friendship on the line. Like, yo,
Oh yeah,
motherfucker, you're fucking up, and I could cuss you out because yo, we're on a professional basis here. You're not my boy. You're here to do a job. Stop fucking around. Stop drinking. Stop trying to talk to all the bridesmaids. Yo, you here to DJ. But if that's my boy, it's hard for me to have that conversation with him without him catching feelings. Like, yo, the fuck, boy? Yo, man, yo, I'm trying to do my shit, dog. Yo, I gave you a cheaper rate. Yo, like, that's not the kind of conversation I want to be having with my boy, especially at that moment. That's why, for me, I would prefer. I don't ever know when I'm going to be in that position, but for me, that's the arrangement I would prefer.
oh for
But
sure. And like I've said on a couple of different occasions, like I made it a point
mm,
to not hire any of my like very good friends because like I'm a DJ, I'm a vendor, I'm a wedding DJ. It's what I do.
mm,
Um, and so I could easily try to call in whatever favors or try to get one of my boys
mm,
that I know do need a solid. You know what I'm saying? And so you know um, when it came to like DJs and photographers, I was like, nah, I can't do it. Mostly because all the DJs that I would hire that are like my boys are gonna
mm.
be at the wedding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like all the photographers that I know that are dope, that like I would go to first,
Hmm.
are gonna be at the wedding. So it's like you said, I'd rather not have to have those difficult conversations
Mm,
with folks that I consider close enough to me to be invited to my wedding. You know
mm.
what I'm saying? Like I don't want to hire those guys to like have to work because they're gonna want to have a good time too. So I'd rather just
Yep.
have them come and have a good time and hire a guy, that I maybe have a rapport with, but there's like kind of outside the circle that I know will still do a smashing job on the situation.
Yep.
Like the photographers, I know lots of photographers that are not in my circle. Like we're cool, we see each other. It's always like, "What up, D?" You know,
Mm.
pounds and love. But
And
I
it's
hope
nothing personal. It's the fact that I'm looking out for you so you can have a good time. And if anything, you can network.
I hope nobody's taking it personally, man. Because
Nah, come on. Well, we should all be adults. We should.
we should. But
We
here's the thing.
should.
Here's the thing about this wedding and about just me in general. I don't really give a fuck. Like I make my decisions. I
Mm,
stand by them 100%. Like I
mm,
don't care how you feel. So
mm,
you know there are gonna be people who I was not able to invite
mm.
because we don't have enough space to invite you. Like
Sad but true.
you know what I mean? Like I made a big list. I made a huge list. My list had like 300 people on it. So I was like,
Oh
fuck
yeah.
it. Because at first I was like, if I could invite everybody, this is how I did my list. If I could invite everybody,
Mhm.
this is who I would invite.
But
And then
then
I'm
you
like,
got, but then you got to look at it too. Is like, yo, that's $50 a person,
yeah,
at least,
more than that,
at
my
least,
guy.
at least, and
and
that's
so,
on the cheap end, and that's on the cheap
and
end.
that's on the cheap end. And so then I took my list and I looked at the budget, and we looked at the budget, Nadine and
Hmm.
I, and we were like, all right, we can only invite this many people,
Yeah,
right?
you got to be honest with yourself,
And
and
I was like,
you got to make hard decisions as
and
an
it was
adult.
just crossing people off the list. Like, I'm sorry that you can't be here with us. Come to the
Hmm.
after party. Like, everybody's going to be invited to the after party, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, not everybody's going to be able to be at the actual wedding. And that's just there's lots of weddings that I seen. Like people I know got married and I didn't get invited. I didn't feel bad about it because I
you know what
understand.
too, with this new whole technology. Number one, if you live far away, you can save yourself a plane ticket, and you can save yourself a thing. Just link up with somebody and have them put it on Zoom. Boom. Don't catch hard feelings. Find a solution if you
Well,
really want to be there.
and
Like,
I'm sure there's going to be some hard feelings, but I'm not really. I don't
yeah,
really subscribe to that because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying. I got to do what I got to do. I can't go broke, so everybody can come to my wedding.
yeah, you know,
You know what I mean? And so
yeah,
I
you can't, like my mother says, you can't rob Peter to pay Paul.
right. So we sat down and we came up with a list because when you get married, you have to combine the families. So we had to make sure that Nadine had all of her people that she wanted or needed to have in the building, and I have all my people that I needed or wanted to have in the building. And then we had some
Mm.
space, so we invited other people. You know what I'm
So,
saying? And there's
so
other, and with the real fact of the matter is like people, not everybody's gonna be able to show up, right? So like, if this person says no, then we have like a auxiliary list if we really want to invite extra people. So
yeah, so you got like reserves.
yeah, we did like research, man, and like this is like these are common things. Like you have like your main list, and then you have like your reserve list. If you really want,
Yeah.
if you can just be like, you know what, fuck
So
it, I'm gonna just
so
let the number be low.
so let me ask you this though. Are you gonna have like, after the wedding and everything, are you gonna have like an arrangement like what Will and Jada has?
Um, nah,
Now,
nah, dog.
I know you watched the round table, the red table scene with them. I didn't watch it because I have my whole philosophy on it all. How you feel about it?
Well, there's a couple different things that I'm feeling about this shit. First of all,
Uh huh.
Will and Jada were only separated, which they talk about on the Red Table Talk.
Mhm.
They've talked about it in interviews or whatever. Supposedly they have an open relationship, right?
Mhm.
Which is basically they just swing it. An open relationship doesn't mean that you can fuck who you want to fuck on the side just because we having some problems.
There's rules to it.
There's rules, and what a lot of people don't understand is that at least that's what I'm seeing based on like different people's posts about the shit
Mhm.
is that when you agree to be, uh, you know, in a in a relationship that allows others to come into that relationship, then
Mhm.
you have to have the rules.
Mhm.
And my theory before I watched the Red Table Talk was that, you know, you have these rules in place. Like, if we're gonna have somebody come into the relationship, then we have that person. You don't get to go out on your own and
And
do dirt and then come back and everything is cool. You know,
yeah, and see, and that's the part about the swinger lifestyle that I learned working in the nightclub, because one night I used to work, they used to have a swingers night. And for about 3 years, I seen these swingers come in and come out, and number one, they're my favorite crowd. They tip the best. They don't drink a lot. They don't make a lot, except for this one situation, which I'm not gonna get into. But they they really don't make a mess, and they leave early. A lot of them are professionals.
yeah,
Like
the
they,
swingers
they
community is rich.
oh
Like
yeah.
there's wealth, there's
Oh my
wealth, there's
goodness.
a lot of wealth in the swingers community. So
Oh my goodness.
they're very much about discretion. So I
That
think
is
like
that's what they're paying for. They're paying because they're a secret society, and all they ask is trust, just like what Jay-Z said. And the main thing with them though is that it's a mutual agreement, because there'll be a couple there, because there was only one fight that really happened. Well, there was two. one major fight that happened was is the husband, who used to come in with his wife. Everything was cool. They used to swing, but one night he ended up leaving her home and said, he was gonna go do something, but he ended up coming to the club with the chick that I guess the wife didn't approve of. The other swingers in the community was like, "Yo, where's your wife? Yo, what's going on? What's going on?" He was like, "Oh, she's not. She's home sick." They're like, "Oh, all right." So they calling, "Oh, you okay? You feeling good?" Like, "Oh, why? What's going on?" "Oh, my husband's. Oh, your husband's here." Then that's the beef.
Right.
So it's like that. There's certain agreements, but it's like sometimes the heart wants what it wants,
So
but you
here's
can't you can't put yourself in that situation if you can't deal with it.
here's a couple things that like I learned from watching the Red Table Talk. First of all, this shit happened like 4 years ago.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
This
what I
shit
was saying too. I
it
knew about
happened
this long ago. I'm
it
like,
happened 4 years ago, and Will and Jada were okay with it because it wasn't anybody's business. They had a little separation. Jada
mhm.
went and had her. She coined the term now, entanglement.
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 Oh,
It's not.
yeah.
It's no longer cheating anymore. It's an entanglement.
It's not a tryst. It's not a rendezvous.
It's not
It's
a
not an
rendezvous.
affair.
It's an entanglement. Uh,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, so
Supposedly, it's been around a long time in the Spanish community, but that's a whole nother thing.
I don't know anything about that. So anyway, 4 years ago, Jada has her entanglement. She comes back to it, and I guess it only really lasted like a year
Yeah.
or so, or whatever, because her and Will was on the shaking bake or whatever. They was on the way out, or they was trying to figure out what they was trying to do,
Uh huh.
and so, but they realized that they want to be with each other, and they figured that shit out, and then they decided to just move forward. And they never talked about it because it wasn't anybody's fucking business, right?
But
Meanwhile,
homeboy,
4 years later, August Alsina is all in his fucking feelings and decides to put that business out on the street. With,
and initially, she denied it.
yeah, because she probably called this fool like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yo, there's rules to this shit.
You're not supposed to be doing that shit. Like, you're supposed to just be the side piece."
Hmm.
It's a classic example of you was the side piece,
You want it more.
and then you wanted to be more than the side piece,
Hmm.
and the person that you was the side piece for was like, "Nah, kick
Yep.
rocks, bro. I'm
Nah,
going
you
back.
know what? I'm gonna go back to my
I'm
spouse.
going back to my situation." And he was
Hmm.
probably like spending mad. She says they haven't spoken since, but why wait 4 years to put a motherfucker on blast about some shit unless you've been trying to get back in a bunch, and it's just
Yeah.
denial after denial. Like, yo, I can't keep fucking with you. I'm back with my wife, or I'm back
You
with
know
my
what? Too.
and
That's the same thing I was saying that must have happened with Bill Cosby. In a lot of those cases, that was probably one of those situations where him and Camille was having their little issue, and it was like, oh well, we're on the rocks, and oh yeah, really, and then he ends up back with her, and then chick's like, oh
I
man,
mean,
you used me,
well,
like come on,
maybe, but at the same time too, like there's a part in it where Will's like, well, now I got to get you back, and
yeah,
Jada was like, nah, bro, you already got me back, which only leads me to believe that they was already doing that shit. Will had his little side pieces.
mhm,
Jada had her side pieces.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? They were
oh yeah,
okay with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, when you're out filming a movie and you're gone for 4 months, if you want to bang down a PA or one of the little assistant bitches,
it's
do
their
that
it's
shit.
their arrangement.
Just don't bring no shit home, and vice
It's
versa. You know what
it's
I'm
their
saying?
arrangement. It's what works for them. But you see, the thing that trips me out also is that everybody that's not in their relationship is like, oh, if that was me, I would have done this, and if that was me. But you see, these people that are offering all this free information and all this free advice,
The people
they
that
don't
are
have to
offering
deal with the consequences of making those decisions. They
that,
could just basically roll a grenade into a room and then back up out of the room, and whatever happens in the room, that has nothing to do with them. They offer their advice.
but the other thing is too, like a lot of people that are offering advice would never do it. So it's like, yo, if you would never be in that situation, you can't offer advice. If you've never been a part of that lifestyle, then you don't even know how it's really supposed to work. So everybody's out here
Yep.
talking about how Will Smith is hurt because he had that like weird look in his eyes. That little screenshot is going
Yeah.
super viral. But if you watch it, that's the point where Jada is trying to use the word entanglement, and he's like, "Nah, bitch, tell him what it really was."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, kind of like getting heated, like, "Yo, so you're on the Red Table Talk, like this is what you do on this show, so
yeah,
call it what it is.
but you know what though, like
You had an
a,
affair." You know what I'm saying? Like,
a part of me, I see that. All right, a lot of times I keep certain things to myself because I'm not ready for the smoke, so I'm ready for the smoke on this one. The thing I see about this, and the reason why I didn't watch it, is because it's a form of escapism. It's to take your mind off of what is really going on in the world. The fact that they're Scientologists is a whole part of it for me. And the fact that it's like, yo, again, this happened like years ago. Like,
yeah,
why is this coming out of the blue? Like, what the like this
it's
is
coming up.
old news, and this
It's
doesn't
coming up
really
though
affect my life.
because your boy August he's in his feelings.
Yeah,
He's probably doing a new record. You know what I mean? Just like
trying to
Kanye's,
get a new deal.
just like Kanye's running for president right now. So
And that's what I was gonna say too. Is
he got
that
a
that's a
record.
new form of escapism
Yeah,
itself
he
too.
got a new record coming out. He got clothes coming up. He got a clothing line with the Gap and shit. So he got to get back in the news cycle. So he's running for president. August Alsina probably got a record coming out,
Mm.
and he's like, I got to get back in the news cycle. So he's having
Ev-
these interviews and
Even
shit.
even if he doesn't, see the thing about the difference with Kanye is that I'm like, you know what? Everybody could obvious. Well, a lot of people would say it looks like he's really going through something on camera, like, and he's off his meds. Me personally, I'm like, look, yeah, probably he's an egomaniac just like Trump, and this is what he does. And for him to say that he's able to run for president, for him, that's a major achievement in his personal life. Like, how many
Yeah,
individuals you can see, like, regardless if you think it's a joke or not, just the fact that somebody like him can say, yeah, I'm an egomaniac, but it's got me here. Same thing with Trump. It's got him where it's gotten him.
yeah,
So
but
you
he didn't
can't
even
really
file.
tell an old dog to learn a new trick,
He didn't even file any
especially when it's
paperwork.
got them
So
to those heights.
Kanye's not running for president because he didn't file any paperwork to run for president. And
Yeah,
I believe he missed the deadline. So anybody who pays attention to any kind of like how do you run for president would know that it's a publicity stunt because you have
yeah.
to file paperwork
But
to
for
run for
me, it's
president.
like
You don't
people
can't
are.
just be like I'm running for president.
But the fact that for me, like people are just piling on him. I'm like, yo, yeah, you don't like it. Just like rather than talk about like and dissing him, talk about the shit that you like. Talk about who you're gonna vote for and why you're gonna vote for him and why it's important. And like this whole thing about just shitting on somebody to the point of no return. It's like, yo, just talk about the shit that you like with the whole Goya boycott. It's like, yeah, all right, you know what? If you're gonna boycott, go ahead, cool. Talk about something else then. Just like
I mean,
how.
that's not how news cycles work, though. You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about
Mm.
Will and Jada, and we talking about this shit because it's what delivers the news, and also we don't do politics here at the Saturday
And
Conversation.
it's escapism,
You know,
and it's good escapism with the whole Jaden
we
thing.
we
But
don't we
they're Scientologists, so I see that being part of the whole scheme of things too.
I
But
don't know
that's
too
me.
much about Scientology, so I'm gonna just
Yeah, I'm not gonna get
let
into that.
you be the expert on that.
No, I'm not gonna get into no L. Ron Hubbard and shit like that. No, I'm good.
On today, on today's episode, we have a very special guest, Ava Gaudet, joining
Mm.
us today on the Saturday Conversation. She's been in Rent. She was on Broadway
Ugly Betty.
for Rent. She was on Ugly Betty.
Hmm.
She was in her most recent film, Agent
Toby Barks.
Toby Barks. And, came through to chop it up with us and discuss the doings on in her world. And so we're going to jump into that interview right now. Ava Gaudet on the Saturday Conversation. What's up?
Hey.
We're just waiting on Daoud. You in there?
Yes, I am.
Shit, you had a costume change too, I see.
I got cold, so I figured I'd just warm up a little bit.
Word. Ava, how are you? Thanks for coming on again.
I'm doing good, and I'm so sorry again about yesterday. I'm the biggest jerk that ever lived. I'm so sorry.
I know bigger jerks for sure.
Okay.
Don't worry.
For real.
So it's all good. But yeah, we're here right now with Ava Gaudet. actress, singer, teacher, mom.
Mm.
All of the above. All of the above.
And
All around the person.
it's another Saturday Conversation interview. We started on time today. Usually I have about a minute or two to just kind of talk to myself.
Oh.
But everybody logged in right on time. Everybody logged in right on time, so it's all good. New star, one of the stars of the new Agent Toby Barks,
Yes.
out on demand right now in your home theater systems.
Yes.
Was on Amazon Prime, right?
It's on Amazon Prime. Yeah, I probably a few other things too. I watched it on Amazon Prime though.
Excellent. Cool. What was that experience like, man? Tell us about Toby.
Well, I guess I should say that I'm very popular among my daughter's preschool class. They all watched the Talking Dog movie, so that makes me feel cool. But yeah, we wanted to watch with my daughter. She's 4.5, and you know, she knew that it was going to be coming out soon, and she actually got to meet Beasley the dog when I was shooting the film, so it was very exciting. And I thought the movie came out so cute, and it was fun to watch it with her. She was really into it. She yeah, so that was probably the best experience I've ever had watching something that I was in, because usually it's, you know, it's hard to watch stuff that you're in sometimes.
Yeah, all the drama and everything around it all.
Yeah.
Personally, I can't wait to watch myself on screen. Like, I'm looking forward to that moment, to either like hear my voice or see my face. Like, you don't even know. I'm gonna be unbearable for a little while. So what have you been up to? How are you handling the quarantine? Are you quarantining?
Yeah. You know, we're good. We're healthy. That is the most important thing. And honestly, any day that I have that's a little bit tough, I remind myself of that we're healthy. And there are some people really suffering out there. So I'm grateful for that. You know, we're in the house, me, my husband, my daughter, my dog, and we're doing our thing. My husband is working from home, which is great. I am finishing up my semester at Dean, the course that I'm teaching there. There's only a couple of weeks left, and we obviously moved to an online learning system. But then after that, I don't know what I'm doing, because typically in this time of year, I'm very busy singing at weddings, and all of them have been canceled until further notice. So, and I also was supposed to be teaching at another summer program at Berklee College of Music that we, at this point, don't know if that program is going to be happening. So I'm sort of sitting around playing Paw Patrol with my daughter, waiting to see if I'm ever going to work again. But other than that, you know, we're healthy, we're good, we're having fun. And
nice. Are you teaching acting, or are you teaching voice?
Yeah, so at Dean, I'm teaching an acting for the camera course. And so that has been really, really cool. At Berklee, I taught at the program last summer as well, and I was in the ensemble department. So I'm basically, you know, I'm getting a bunch of students in a room to perform together as a band, and I help them through that process, and then we have a concert at the end of the semester. And so it was really fun. So I had 8 different pop R&B vocal ensembles. Each band had 8 singers, or 6 to 8 singers in each band. So it was wild. It was crazy, but it was really, really fun.
Whew, that's a big ass singing group.
And it's hard because, like, everyone, first of all, we have these concerts in these little concert rooms. You know, Berklee has some amazing spaces, don't get me wrong, but because there are so many students and so many concerts at the end of the semester, sometimes we get crammed in this little room. I have 8 singers trying to move and sing. It's just like, and then we have all the musicians on the stage. It's just crazy, but man, they are amazing. These students, they come from all over the world. They are, that summer program is mainly for students kind of in the high school age, like kind of deciding whether they want to go into Berkeley for college. And so they're young and they're like crazy talented, and it's a really cool experience. But with everything going on, I just have no idea what the plan is for it. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's tough all around.
It's tough on everyone. I feel bad for the students, you know, like it's an amazing experience that I'm sure they're looking forward to. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, and part of college is being on campus and having the college campus life experience, you know, because University of Phoenix is not the same as actually being on campus.
No. And it's, you know, that style of learning is hard for some people. And I feel like especially creative people, and that is, you know, that's the kind of world that I'm living in as a teacher. It's hard. It's hard to focus. It's hard to not have the experience of being able to also witness the other students' work at the same time. You know, they're kind of working in a bubble, which is hard. It's harder. And especially, so my dad has been teaching in the ensemble department at Berkeley for 25 years. And mid-semester, obviously, they had to shift over to an online program. And it's ensemble. It's literally the whole point of the class is to get into a room together and play music. So it's just been so hard. And I feel bad for the students. You know, they're doing their best, most of them, but
that's gotta be crazy, like on a computer with everybody in their respective homes, all trying to be on time.
Yeah.
One dude has a lagging internet connection, then he's off time.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, and some of them, like, you know, for my dad's classes, some of them are in Japan, some of them are in, you know, all these different time zones, where some kids are trying to do this class at 2:00 in the morning. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, damn. So now as an educator, right? It's a different aspect of what you're used to doing, being on one side of the camera, now teaching people how to be in front of the camera. What have you taken away as an instructor now that you're bringing into your own acting, where you're like, oh damn, I used to do this stupid shit all the time. Now I'm like telling people they can't do it. Oh
man, that is a really good point. That's a really good point. Half the time I have to remind myself to listen to my own advice. Like I give great advice to other people. And then when I'm in the process, I have to remember to listen to the things you know, because in order to teach something, you sort of have to break it down into smaller bits of information. And once you do that, and you kind of put together a system for how you approach different things. One of the things I teach a lot is auditioning, because auditioning is such its own skill set that is so important. So when you go into these major markets like New York and LA, and you are auditioning all the time, that becomes your job more than being a performer. You're an auditioner. And so I break down that process for my students, and then I will get an audition and I'll be like, I'm going to go over my little list of things to do and listen to my own advice. And it definitely does help me. It helps to follow a process. And so it's also helpful for me to watch my students in their creative process. I learn things from them all the time. And and it's really cool to be sort of a teaching artist in that way, that I'm still doing this thing that I'm teaching them. And so it's all sort of in real time, and it's really cool. I love it. I absolutely love teaching, and I'm glad that I have these opportunities right now to be teaching this stuff. And also I try to teach them how to not make the mistakes that I made. That's my teaching.
I was just about to ask, like, what's going to be like one of the main tips that you would give for auditions? One thing to do and one thing not to do.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of the time I'm teaching specifically on camera auditions. So there's different like skills for different kinds of auditions that you do, whether it's for musical theater or regional theater, whatever. But for on camera, you know, there's definitely some things to think about as far as analyzing the text, because you're given a scene that is completely taken out of context. So most of the time you don't get the whole script. You're getting one little bit that you now have to be a detective and figure out what is actually going on, who your character really is. You know, it's so much easier if you would always get access to the entire script and you could know exactly who, you know, what the relationships are. In that way, it's very different than theater. So I have a whole process of how to analyze a scene that you have to audition with, how to utilize an eye line. So an eye line is like where your eyes are focusing when the camera is on you. So during the audition, they're gonna, you know, 9 times out of 10, they're recording your audition on camera. And so you know, really get specific with your eye lines. And if you're talking to more than one person, to pre-plan where these people are gonna be in the space. So you know exactly who you're looking to. So kind of some technical things like that, establishing your environment as much as you can in different ways, like depending on what is going on. Like I always give the example, if the scene takes place in a restaurant and you're talking to somebody, but you know that there's other people around you, how do you let that affect your audition? You know, keeping that stuff in mind, it sets you apart when you're in the audition process, because 9 people out of 10 will forget that element completely. And the people who think about it, they make a much more realistic scene. It comes alive so much more. So there's a ton of little tips like that I have for my people, my kids.
What's one of the things that you would say to avoid one major thing to avoid?
One of the major things that I make sure that they avoid is when they're looking at their auditions to only focus on what your character has to say. So I think a lot of people, when they look at the scene, they're like, okay, I'm playing this role, and I'm just going to look at those lines, and I'm going to memorize those lines, and I'm just going to say the words on the page. I think that is a trap that a lot of inexperienced auditioners fall into. So that makes it so you don't actually really know what's going on. You're just sort of like saying the words. Saying the words is the least important element of that audition. No one, you know what I mean? Like the words are important, but not as important as all the other stuff as far as establishing relationships, knowing exactly what's happening in the scene. All that other stuff is so much more important. So when I see a student just go up there and say the lines, I know that they didn't actually take the time to figure everything out. You know what I mean?
These pretzels are making me thirsty. These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Right.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite lines.
What's your motivation?
Yeah. I'm thirsty, yes.
Have you ever had to just tell somebody like, nah, go do something else?
Woo. Well, you know, you try to not be discouraging.
Like, you should take up accounting, kid, because you're terrible at this.
I will say there are some times that I see a student just really have no natural inclination for it. You know what I mean? Like some people have a natural way about them that they just naturally kind of get it, and it's cool, and then they can work on that. But then there are some students that they're just like, one student I had recently in an adult class, he just so happened to be like a not expressive person. Do you know what I mean? And so his scenes, it was so hard to get anything out of him because he just naturally doesn't, you know, just talking to him, you know, person to person, I could tell that he's just not a very expressive person. So how do you get somebody to just do something that is totally not natural to them?
So he's like real robotic with it, like real mannequinish.
Yeah, like in real life.
Yeah, like real monotone. Like, oh man, like, yeah, Pinocchio. Like, what happened? Like Pinocchio tries to go to Hollywood.
Exactly. Yeah, so it happens, but you know, I don't want to discourage anybody from
Nah, but yeah, it's probably just something that he was going through, just taking the class just to learn to be like more outgoing and more humanistic
Yeah.
properties, I guess.
No,
So,
yeah, definitely. Like people have different reasons for wanting to do these things, and not everybody is taking this class because they intend to be like a professional actor. This person had a real job. He just was taking the class because it interested him, and that's cool. That is very cool. One of these days I will probably venture out and do something that I'm not good at just to try. And so I encourage that. But yeah, like it's sort of different when you're teaching a college course, because this is their major. This is what they intend to go into professionally. And so it is a little bit more of a particular way of handling that when these students are actually doing this for their main thing. But
okay. So you're saying that you're not going to be showing up on Dancing with the Stars anytime soon, then, huh?
hey, if I got invited, my ass would be there.
Oh, so you know how to cut a rug then, huh?
Just don't go out like
so
Billy
you can
B.
cut a rug then. You know how to dance then.
Oh yeah, I was a dancer. Like in a past life, I always say in a past life, when I was younger, I was a dancer. And actually, when I first moved to New York, my first agent was a dance agent. And I was going on like music video and commercial auditions, dancing and stuff. Yeah, but I'm too short, so I was like, this is a dead end street for me. I'm never gonna work. So I moved into other things.
Have you thought about ever like writing or directing?
So when I first moved back to Rhode Island after leaving LA, I wrote oh my God, what the heck, like a web series kind of thing with my friend Evan. Do you know Evan Andrews? You must know the Andrews from classical.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Evan is a really good friend of mine. He's an amazing singer and like a hilarious person. And so we wrote this web series together, and it's really funny. And then we did nothing with it. We just never.
Why not?
I don't know, because I like I'm cool with the creative side. I love that process of like writing the script and coming up with the scenarios, but actually trying to do like the production side, just like it makes my brain want to explode. Like I just don't know how to approach it. I've never produced anything, and I don't even know where to start. And Evan is the same way. So the two of us, we sit there and we come up with all these funny ideas, and then we're like, I don't know what to do with this.
No, you just gotta hire a guy for that. That's all.
I guess you're right. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
So since we spoke last, you did you had some other shows that you weren't working on. I see your City on a Hill. I think you mentioned that to me. How was that as an experience? That's Boston, right? Did they make you do a Boston accent?
They did make me do. I was from Southie, so I did do an accent. But the whole thing was shot in New York and cast in New York. I guess they do some shooting in like local in Massachusetts. I don't know how much they did in the first season. Second season, they had a few days that they were going to shoot in the Boston area, but most of it was done in New York. So I went to New York to do it. Actually, so I actually had to cancel one of my classes at Dean in order to go to the audition. But I was like, when I weighed out what I should do, I was like, the fact that I am still working in this industry makes me valuable to my students. So it isn't something that I do all the time, cancel a class to do this, but I felt like it was worth it. So I canceled the class. I went to New York that day, did the audition, and then I found out I booked it. And luckily, it didn't conflict with any of my other classes. So I was able to go to New York and shoot it, and it didn't conflict. But it was an amazing experience because one of my good friends is a series regular on the show. My scene was with her we got to work together. She actually let me crash at her house because I needed to go into the city the day before for my fitting. And so I crashed with her and her husband and her little baby. And like, it was just an amazing experience personally and professionally. Obviously, it was really fun. But the thing that sucks is that they had to stop production halfway through. I mean, I don't even know if they were through shooting the second episode when they had to stop production. Yeah, so we don't know at this point when it's even going to get released. It was supposed to be done shooting by the end of May, I think. I think she said that, like, usually it starts airing sometime in the summer, but I know Kevin Bacon is in LA. He's nowhere near where they're shooting. Production has stopped, so we don't know.
Yeah, well, hopefully it comes back soon because I've heard it's a good show. I'm going to go back and watch the first season.
It is. It's good. Yeah, it's really good.
I got a few shows in the docket right now that I'm trying to bang through during this Corona get-in.
Same.
Tell us about The Society. I've never heard of that show. What's that about?
Yeah, so this is like a typical kind of experience in this industry. So The Society was a show that they this first season has already happened. It's available now on Netflix. It's a young adult show, and the premise is that in the first episode, all of these high school students, like, stuff is happening in their town, and they go on this field trip thing, and then when they come back, all of the adults in the town are gone, and it's just them. So I played one of the mothers of one of the main two characters that are, the teenagers. And I had this whole scene, like, we had this thing, me and the guy playing the father, we had this whole scene with the kids, and we did all this stuff, and all of it got cut from the episode. And the only thing that made it into the episode was like 5 seconds of me giving them a hug. And I was like, oh. And I was like telling people to watch. And I'm like, yeah, watch the show. I have this cool, like, little, guest spot. And no, cutting room floor.
Damn, they were killing you off anyway as a parent. And then
I couldn't, like, early.
And they Thanos snapped you early.
Yeah.
Damn.
I hear that's a huge thing, like, in Hollywood, like, or just in the industry anyway. They as long as you get paid, I guess, is cool, right? But then they're just like, yeah, you're in it, and then you go watch it, and you're like, wait a minute, this is where I was supposed to be, like, right here, like.
Yeah, it's ruthless. It's ruthless.
Wait, what would be more, like, if you was to weigh the importance, would you want to get paid, right? And have would you want to get paid and have a 5-second scene and no credit, or credit and no scene?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, of course, at the end of the day, it's great. I got paid as if I actually had that scene in the episode, and but it's tough because all of these little things that you do as an actor are sort of stepping stones into, you think of it that way sometimes. And so when it turns out to be nothing, it's sort of just a bummer. But it happens. You just have no control over it. So the only thing you can keep doing is just keep auditioning, keep trying to work, keep trying to do that kind of thing. But, there are some really terrible things that happen. Like, you can book a show and then you go to do the table read, which is just the thing that you do before they start shooting, is everybody gets around the table, reads the script. I've heard of people getting fired at that point and recast. I'm sorry, I don't like the way you read it today at the table read. I'm going to fire you and hire somebody else. Or people that get roles in new pilots, and then they'll do the upfronts where they get a bunch of people's input, and then they decide, like, no, we don't like you. We are literally going to spend the money to recast you and reshoot the whole episode because we didn't like you that much.
Wow. Damn, that's right.
Luckily, those things have never happened to me. I'll consider myself lucky that I only had, like, one scene cut from this show.
Well, I have a follow-up question then, because this is a question that, like, me and my cousins and my brothers have. is the Will Smith versus the Samuel L. Jackson question. Would
Okay.
you rather get paid $1 million for one movie, or would $20 million for one movie, or make 20 movies for $1 million?
I think that depends on how much you like working. When you're at that level, some people just love to work. You know,
True.
like I did a film early in my career. I did a film with Ving Rhames. I don't know if you're familiar with Ving Rhames. His like big break, I guess, was Pulp Fiction back in the day, and he's done a ton of stuff. But this guy, like, he just loves to work. He'll do at least 2 low budget projects a year, just to like, and then he'll do bigger budget projects, and he just loves to be working and constantly be doing stuff. And some people like that, and other people want to just like get the big paycheck and then do other things with their life, because filming is really time consuming.
Which one would you pick, though?
Oh man. I love to work. I really do. I love to work. So, God, I don't know. Both of those, I would take either one of those options at this point.
It's a tough question. Yeah, because we keep having the debate, because like one side is, if you do $20 million for one movie, yeah, you have the freedom to, live your life and not have to work, but the pressure on you having to actually deliver in that one movie is critical.
Exactly.
Because if you bomb, then you're not going to get another $20 million movie. And that's it. And then the other side is like, yo, I'm just working. I get shot. Boom. $1 million. Cool. I get the credit. It just, for some of them, it's just, you know what? I'm just building up my numbers. I was in 100 movies, even though like one movie, I was only in there for 5 seconds.
Right.
Other movie, I was in there for 10. Either way, I'm in there and I got the credit. So some people like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I do. I think it's all a matter of what you value in your life, because it's true. Once you get to that level, there are very few people in Hollywood that actually have that kind of, that kind of paycheck and that kind of clout in the industry. Like, there's very few people who have that. And so you're right, there's a lot of pressure on them, and it sort of backs them into this corner of not being able to do other projects that they may be interested in, because now they have this standard. Right. And it kind of limits them sometimes. But I was just thinking about Dean Cain, who was in the Agent Toby Barks with us. And I was talking to him, and he was saying how after he did Lois and Clark for all those seasons, and he was the lead role. So I really believe there is a massive difference between somebody who is like an ensemble kind of person on one of these shows and somebody who is a leading role. I mean, they are in probably 80% of the scenes. They're literally there every single day that they're shooting for 12, 14 hours a day. I mean, it is a lot. So he was saying that at one point in his life, he chose not to do that anymore. He lost money because he just didn't want to be that tied up. And so I even though it seems crazy from kind of like my point of view, I would never turn down any work because I don't have it like that. If I don't have television series coming after me like, hey, we want you to be a lead. I'm like, no, that's too much work.
No, I need a vacation.
After all that time, he made that decision. So I think that it's a lifestyle thing for some people.
Yeah, I feel like it's a thing that you gotta kind of earn your way to 20 million, but then you also don't want to do like a bunch of shitty projects either, because then you're tarnished as an actor. Like, it's like almost being typecast. Like, he's trash. He does all these like trash roles. Like, Sam Jackson's been lucky enough that he's done some like low budget movies that are like hit culturally like crazy, like a Pulp Fiction and Friday and New Jack City and all those.
Right there.
But then he like kind of fell into the Marvel universe, and he probably never has to work again. But he still does like Capital One commercials. Like, he doesn't need to do Capital One commercials.
Right.
You got a guy like Larry Fishburne who like went to television after the Matrix movies, and he never had to really work again after that if he really didn't want to.
Yeah, people forget he was on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
My God, yes, he so was. Yeah.
You know, Don Cheadle's a good example of somebody who's able to move back and forth because he does the big blockbusters and he does a bunch of like B type movies.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have Cuba Gooding is an example of a dude who's like should be way more famous.
Yeah.
But he does so many like weird off-brand movies, and you're like, really? Why? Why would you do
I know. And you know, there's so much that happens behind the scenes too that we probably don't know about, you know, and who knows what could have happened, you know. There's just so many so many things that could happen, that could adjust somebody's. So you think that Cuba Gooding Jr. has control over this, but he might not. Like maybe he attempted to get these great roles in great movies and just never landed them. And then that thing happens where the ball starts going in the wrong direction, and now they don't want to work with you because they're not hot anymore. You don't have this thing anymore. And there's just so many factors, and it's a crazy industry. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I like the fact that I'm still in it, but I also like the fact that I do other things too. And I'm not just only doing that like I was before.
And to your point about Dean Cain is like watching this Last Dance with Michael Jordan, like it gets to a point where you just want to live your life where you can do the simple things like going to Walmart without people mobbing you, or opening your door and getting your mail without people taking pictures and jumping out on you and trying to grab the trash. And like it gets to a point where you just want to enjoy your life and just be regular and rich. But that's why I tell people I want to be rich. I don't want to be famous. Fuck that shit. Like I don't need people jumping out the bush on me. Like I just want to be able to walk out in a robe and not worry about people go, oh, and he's wearing a beige robe. Like the fuck he's wearing a beige robe for? Like I don't need that. And I can see where he's coming from that standpoint. It gets burnt out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I witnessed that so many times firsthand living in LA for 10 years, because you see it happening where you're out at a restaurant or something and some actor or some famous person comes in and everything, the whole vibe and the whole place changes. And it's like they just want to freaking have dinner just like you. And it's like, and then the people start coming up to them and they have to be nice and they have to do, and it is a crazy thing. And, you know, obviously the more famous you get, the crazier it is. Like, you know, the paparazzi comes out. I mean, those kind of people.
One time you snap, now all of a sudden you're the ultimate jerk. Like,
can you imagine like always being bothered every single time you walk out of your house and how frustrating that must get?
I imagine it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm
I would be one of those people that would snap. Like, I don't think I'm that nice.
I'm not that nice, so I know I'd be on TMZ. Fuck out of here. But you know, it's a first world problem that I'm not going to be against having. You know what I'm saying? Like there are worse people. I always say I want to be industry famous. Like I don't want to be well known to like a lot of people, but like you need some shit written, you're calling me. You need a voiceover, you're calling me. Like I want to be on that level where I'm famous. I'm famous amongst the famous people, but nobody really knows who I am. They're just like, how does this dude have all this money? What does he do? Want to be like Bruh Man or Tommy from Martin.
Oh, you don't know.
Nobody knows what I do, but they know that I'm good at it.
Right.
Oh, you don't know?
What's your go-to quarantine snack right now? What are you snacking on?
Oh, dude, I can't buy salt and vinegar chips anymore. I just can't buy them.
Your mouth is getting raw from eating so many?
What?
Your mouth is getting raw from eating too many?
Oh, yeah. I have like no taste buds anymore.
Nice.
They're burned off.
And so what's the first thing you're going to do when this quarantine is done? Like, what do you have on deck?
Oh, my God. Do you know, I just cannot stop thinking about how much. Do you have a freeze pop right there?
Yeah, it's one of those hard ice.
Oh my God. That sounds awesome.
It's just mad strong though.
Is it?
I'm sorry.
I gotta get those. No, we're big fans of freeze pops in this house, so it's like,
Right.
the thing I keep thinking about is how much I've taken things for granted. Like people that I don't see often enough that I love, like friends of mine that I just haven't seen. Like the first thing I'm going to change is like, I'm inviting people over for dinner. And I'm not even the greatest cook, but I'm just going to like see my friends more. Because I miss them all so much. And I'm like, what is wrong with me that I went so long without seeing this person or that person? Like you always think you can just make it happen someday. And now I probably won't see them for like a year because no one's seen one. So that's the thing I keep thinking about.
I feel you on that. We did a couple of
my kid.
We did a couple of Zoom parties and they were helpful, but it's not the same as like
I know
actually being out.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get out to more stuff. Like I do. I'm a huge like, yo, I'm gonna be there, and then
me too.
I don't go. Like something, and it's not even that anything ever comes up. I'm just like, yeah. So,
oh man, me too.
I'm gonna get out to more of that stuff. Definitely when this is done. We have mimosas. We're day drinking with Lindsay DeLuca. That's definitely on the list.
Oh yeah, on the beach.
On the beach, and I'll be throwing a lot more barbecues and inviting people to the house for sure. So
yeah, see,
you're on the short list.
Nice. Oh yeah, man. Please do. That's all I keep thinking about right now is like.
I'll bring the ice pop.
People, look at that thing.
Yeah, I'll bring the ice pops. Yo, that shit is dumb strong, man.
Wait, there's liquor in there?
Yeah, it's 6.8%.
Oh my God.
It's vodka inside of here.
I need those.
Dude, I thought you were just eating regular freeze pops the other night.
Nah, man. It was this one, man.
God. I'm literally like writing this down. Is that nerdy?
Oh, yeah. I forgot to ask. When we were talking about Toby Barks, it's out now.
Yeah.
Did you got a chance to work with our good friend Tom DiNucci again?
Yeah.
Consummate professional, co-host of the Porch. We gotta do a project together. If people wanna try to get into like acting, or whatever, like, are you doing like courses like online, like a master's class, or like how can they hire you to get into the game?
Oh my God! First of all, I would love to help anyone who wants to do this. You know, I'm one of those people that if somebody is looking for advice, I want them to contact me. Like I love sharing the stuff that I know. I don't know everything, obviously, but I love helping people. So I do one-on-one coaching. So when people have auditions or they have things going on, I do coaching. I'm teaching classes through Boston Casting, and right now, obviously, they're all online. But yeah, like I'm considering doing my own kind of classes, especially if we're doing it on this format. It's much easier to sort of gather people in this way that I don't need like a big space in order to do it. But yeah, you can just contact me via email, Ava Gaudet 0909@gmail, and we can work something out as far as coaching. You know, I do like vocal coaching, I do acting coaching. Just like always trying to help people. So whatever you need.
So you're going to be like the Phil Jackson of acting coaches, huh?
Maybe. I don't know.
Hey, I'm definitely gonna hit you up. I've been lazy about getting my shit together. But we're definitely gonna talk because I'm trying to get my voice actor game on. But you know, and I need to get on the episode of what do you call it there, Law and Order. I'm trying to be on.
Honestly, Daryl, that is like a great way of kind of like super honed in on a target casting director and a target show. Like that's something that I recommend to people. So a lot of people, they go out and they're like, I just want to act. I don't know what I'm going to be good at. I don't know what I'm right for. I just want to go out there and see what happens. And, you know, that's like throwing spaghetti on a wall. But when you say, that's the show I want to be on, I know what kind of role I could do, that's the casting director that you get in touch with. That's the person that you try to meet somehow, or you send your marketing materials to that person. And that's how it happens. It takes constant work. as far as like marketing yourself in this industry, because it can be hard. But yeah, it's great to be super targeted like that. I was targeting City on a Hill because I knew that being like a native New England person, that I would have that quality. And ultimately I feel like that's what happened when I auditioned for it. It clicked. And so yeah, I think that's a smart way of approaching it.
Word.
Yeah, I wonder if they bringing back Red Shoe Diaries. Nah, I got kids. I don't need them tuning into that.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, shit, that's gonna do it for us. Unless you have, what do you have anything else you want to promote while we have you?
I will have some other things coming out. I don't really know the release dates on them yet. Some things that I shot last year. I had a little kind of quick role in a movie called Love, Weddings, and Other Disasters. I also had a little role in a movie called I Care a Lot. I'm keeping up with them to try to figure out when they're going to be released. And so I'll be promoting that on my social media when I know. But and then if City on a Hill,
It's my duty to please that booty.
Yeah, man. That's one of the most iconic lines in movies. Offline. Sam Jackson has like a handful of the most iconic lines in movie history. And
The actual new Shaft is actually pretty good. With all three generations of Shaft, it's decent. And look, I don't know about you. I was looking at it as a movie. I wasn't looking at it as a film or like any kind of groundbreaking kind of thing, because it was just a good movie to watch. It's like something good to watch. It's like Rush Hour.
You were watching like how I watched Battleship?
Probably.
Like,
I wasn't taking Battleship too serious, to be honest.
This movie was gonna be terrible, so.
No, it was actually pretty good.
It was entertaining, but it was terrible.
No, see, no, that the new Shaft was not the Shaft. The new Shaft. The one that came out like last year or 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, the light skin Shaft. Any light skin?
No, it's three. Richard Roundtree's in it.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson's in it.
Right, and the young Shaft, like baby Shaft.
And the young Shaft, yeah.
Light skin dude.
Nah, he was he's A-Train in The Boys.
Like the music group?
Nah, remember did you watch that Amazon show The Boys?
No.
All right. He's in wow, what's that? Survivor Remorse, that LeBron show that was on Stars. No. You didn't watch that either. No, damn.
No.
Matter of fact, he was in the new Independence Day. Damn, man, yo. I'm mad that I know this dude's catalog like this.
I'm looking at him right now.
I'm mad I know his catalog like this, though.
Oh, so he's a leap year baby. He was born on February 29th.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. He's a February.
His name is Jesse Usher.
Jesse Usher, yep. There it is.
Oh, okay. Yep. Damn, you was right on with those names and everything, dog.
Yo, that's why I'm like, yo, I'm surprised I know his catalog this good.
He was in The Banker.
Yep, he was in The Banker. I watched that. Yo, I watched mad shit with this dude. And I'm not even a fan like that. Like, if any...
He's kind of new to the game. But,
yeah, he's hit or miss with me, though, as an actor. He's hit or miss, but...
I'll have to check him out. But, real quick, I know it's, I just want to, like, kind of, like, dip into the fact that Patrick Mahomes got $500 million to play football. That shit is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah,
140 million guaranteed, which is probably like the third most guaranteed money in all of sports, behind
yo, that's rivaling soccer money.
Behind Mike Trout and what's his name, man?
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
No, because Ronaldo and Messi make some real money, but they have problems with paying their taxes.
Yeah.
So.
But
it is what it is.
Shout out to him because he's young, man. He's 24.
Oh yeah.
He signed a 10-year deal, which is unheard of in sports, and he's around to be 35. And if he wins a couple more Super Bowls between now and then he's going to get another giant contract. So at the end of his football career, he could probably be on pace to make somewhere around $1 billion playing football. Like if he fulfills his contract,
Mm.
like in the Kansas City Chiefs keep him on for the 10 years, right? He's gonna make that whole $500 million.
Mm.
And if he signs an extension or another contract, and he's performed at the level that he's performed at now, which who knows if he's gonna, but let's just say for shits and giggles, he wins 3 or 4 more Super Bowls in the next 10 years, right? Puts up wild numbers and is being like compared to Tom Brady on with his ability to win. He's going to be in line, depending on where the CBA goes between now and then, he's going to be in line to get another giant contract.
You know what?
Incentives and shit. He could be the first $1 billion athlete.
But you see, I'm very cautious about that because this is the thing where it's a gift and a curse. I'll give you 2 cases. Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck got big money, but they wasn't able to get him the offensive line to keep him in the league.
Of course, I mean there's a lot of variables. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah,
scenario,
but then on the flip side too is that the reason why I give Tom Brady so much credit for who he is that he put team over himself, but the team was always funny with it. Like when they were supposed to give Wes Welker the money that Tom Brady took,
right.
adjusted his contract, somehow, Wes Welker still end up walking. All that aside, he ended up putting the team before himself. But I was saying Tom Brady should have got that contract that Mahomes got about 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At a prorated amount. But
at the same level, like Tom Brady should have been.
But wishful thinking, yeah, he can make a lot of money. Wishful thinking, but me, I'm just very cautious on those kind of things.
Well, that's what I said. Like he has to stay healthy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? His team has to continue to be great.
They have to find a way of. Yes.
Draft well because I don't see a dude like Travis Kelce taking small money.
Nope.
On the shit that like Gronk took small money to like stay with the Patriots. I don't know if Kelce's that guy. I don't know if Tyreek Hill is that guy. So you have to also draft well to have 10 years of success. You have to draft well, and you have to have like good players that are willing to take a little bit less money for the common good, which is winning Super Bowls. And that's the thing that the Patriots have had over the last decade, 20 years, 2 decades. Tom Brady. Say what you want about the man, but he went to Super Bowls. He went to 9 Super Bowls in 20 seasons. That's like almost 50%, my guy. Like nobody's done that amount of winning, and he was only able to do that because he stayed healthy, juice or no juice. I'm on the side of juice. His teammates took less money for the most part. With the exception of like Willie McGinnis and Ty Law and some other guys that wanted.
No, they ended up getting bounced when it came time for them to get paid.
They wanted to get that, but they wanted those big contracts.
And they got bounced.
And also, the Patriots have drafted very well in the last 20 years to be able to always have guys that they could just plug right in. And they do well.
Not just draft well. They end up getting a lot of refugees, like people that was on the, because not just Randy Moss. Even before that, it was Corey Dillon. Before that,
it was Curtis Martin.
Well, Curtis Martin wasn't really that much of an outcast, but like they shot and they missed with him. Alan, what's his name? Albert Hainsworth.
Yeah.
They try to get cast-offs, people that. They
got Randy for a year. Like they just did good at getting like the right guy at the right time.
Talented people that has like that bad reputation. That's why I said Randy Moss, Corey Dillon, because at the time Corey Dillon had that bad reputation coming from the Bengals, where it was like, yo, he got a bad attitude, he's bad in the locker room. So they were like, yo, we're selling you on a culture of winning. Only thing you got to do is come in and work, and we're gonna win, and you don't have to worry about all that extra shit that you had to deal with losing with the Bengals.
And that's it. So shout out to Patrick Mahomes and.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully the Kansas City Chiefs do what they need to do to keep winning.
I did have something here for you though.
You had something about what was blowing your mind.
This
blowing experience. Tell us what's.
All right, so this week, right? I made a joke and I come across some like cherries, right? So I was like, all right, and it was like cherries and blueberries. I'm like, oh, blueberries are in season. So I'm like, yo, Are blueberries like the best berries in season, like just in general? So I was like, all right, well, is a cherry a berry? A cherry's not a berry. A cherry's like a peach, right?
Yeah.
All right. So then I was like, and then when I was looking up, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries are not considered berries, botanical berries. They're known as common berries. Botanical berries, it gets into the whole reproduction of it all, but the technical term of a berry, you will get things like tomatoes, avocado is a berry, banana is a berry, cucumbers are berries. Um, this shit was blowing my mind. I'm like,
So educate us on what makes a banana a berry.
oh, eggplant is a berry. But they're technical botanical berries by definition, and again, it's by the reproduction system. I'm not gonna get into all of that, but based on that, it's from a single seed. It has one ovary or two ovaries, something like that. That's why I was like, I don't want to get into that. Sound like a Republican talking about ovaries like that. But that
So
aside,
like it produces like an insane amount of fruit from one seed. Is that?
yes, and it has like one ovary, and it's weird. It's very
All right,
weird.
so safe to say that these are all still fruit.
Yes.
All right, that's all that matters.
So a cucumber's a fruit, avocado's a fruit.
Tomatoes
Oh, this was the one that blew my mind. Outside of an eggplant being a technical berry, coffee is a berry too.
All right, you know what?
so that's why I was like, yo, this is blow. And again, a strawberry, raspberry, and blackberries are not botanical berries. They're common berries.
Tell me how a coffee bean is a fruit.
If you look at it, the way that coffees are, right? They have a berry that grows on them, right? You're asking me as if I'm trying to defend something that blew my mind. I'm like, yo, I don't want to believe this shit either. I don't want to believe this shit either. Huh?
Berries are supposed to be sweet and delicious.
They're supposed to be. Oh, pumpkins are berries too.
You know what? You know what? This is the type of shit I'm talking about.
Yeah, because pumpkin is technically a fruit. All right, everybody's come around to, and accepting that tomatoes are fruits. Avocado is a fruit.
Yeah. First of all,
eggplant is a fruit.
How the fuck is a pumpkin a berry, dog?
Again, it's a botanical berry by botanical definition. Now, if you was a botanist,
okay,
this is what you would classify. So for me, if I was on like $1 million game show, right? And the last question is which one is not a berry? I'm pointing at the strawberry, and they're gonna say, "Oh, you're wrong." I'm gonna go, "Nah, nigga, I'm right."
Right. So, this is gonna be a question on Jeopardy.
Oh, I'm fighting this one to the Supreme Court.
We just prepared you guys to win $1 million game shows.
Oh yeah.
With DJ Ironmonkey, we're educating you on the fact that a pumpkin is.
But you see,
as is a coffee bean.
Oh, this is the thing that tripped me out even more though. Because with sparsing the definition of what a berry is, it's kind of like what Jada was doing with turning an affair into an entanglement. Yeah. So one is a separation. When we're in a separation, it's an entanglement. But if we were together, it would have been an affair. So you see, that is what kind of blew my mind this week. Again,
I'm just gonna
pumpkin.
Frozen so that he'll stop lying about berries.
No, pumpkin, eggplant, what's that? Pomegranate, watermelons, berries, avocados, bananas. They're botanical berries, B. And all of this came from me just thinking, all right, is a cherry a berry? Because like what's better than a blueberry in season? Because
Nothing.
blueberries are yeah, like blueberries are my
Yo,
favorite. Oh
like
my
I
god.
kind of want to make blueberry pancakes right now. Like,
Oh, I want to go blueberry picking just so I can have some fresh blueberries.
where can
Oh my
you
goodness.
can't? Where's a spot you can pick blueberries out here?
That's probably a spot. Come on. It's Rhode Island.
That's true.
It's Rhode Island. We got a
Rhode
lot of
Island.
country out here.
Um, yeah. So I mean, shit, we're up against it right now, man. But
Yeah, man.
we got to thank Ava Gaudet for coming on the show and
Yes,
blessing us
indeed.
with a great conversation as always. Make sure you go into the YouTube channel, the Saturday
Yes.
Conversation, and checking out all the episodes. This is episode 83. So there's
Mm.
82 other episodes behind this one that you guys can go and check out. Also, episodes of The Porch with myself and the world famous Tom DiNucci, whose birthday was yesterday.
I was just about to say that too. I was just about to say that.
Happy birthday to the living legend, Tom DiNucci.
Cheers, my
As
man.
well as my cousin Quint had a birthday yesterday, and
Oh, word.
yeah, and my little cousin Damari also had a birthday, and also Sensei Carlos de la Cruz.
Mm.
His birthday was yesterday as well. From Tumble
Oh.
International Martial Arts, who is also a sponsor of the
Mhm.
Saturday Conversation. So if you're interested in learning how to get into the martial arts, or if you have children or yourself want to be part of the martial arts, make sure that you hit up Tumble Martial Arts. They are on they're on YouTube, they're on
I-
Instagram and Facebook as well. So make sure you
Yes,
check
indeed.
those guys out.
Oh,
Daddy,
I have
anything
a
else?
quick shout out here to my mother. Her birthday was July 2nd. You know,
Shout
happy.
out to Mama Alexis.
Yeah, my Dukes. Yeah,
Alexis
so
got to start doing the plates again, man. She's really she's leaving.
nah, people fronted on her last time, so she was like, "Look, man, people full of shit. I don't got time for this." Yeah, she was keeping it real. She was like, "Nah, people fronted because they was like, yo, put it to the side." And when it came time to pick it up and pay, they were like, She was like, "Look,
Yeah. See, just tell her she can't push it to the side for people. You either show up and get it, or she's gonna sell it.
no." Basically, she was like, "Look, I just don't have time for this shit. Like, I don't want to organize it, all that shit. No, I'm not doing that." But shout out to her. And then, matter of fact, I think tomorrow is my mother and father's anniversary as
All right.
well.
Happy anniversary.
To them old birds.
Yeah,
Oh shit, man.
that's crazy. You've been married a long time, man. Shit,
Oh man, yeah,
that's relationship goals, man.
yeah. Oh my goodness. And Lord forbid that. Imagine if they got on a red table talking about entanglement. I'm sitting here like, oh no, I gotta hear this shit. Oh, imagine their kids. Oh man, imagine Will and Jada's kids, especially that they're out there like that too. So it's like,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't want to hear my folks talking about entanglements.
That's gross. Like now that don't even that's gross, man. Like don't even like put that in your brain. You got to take that out of your brain.
Yeah, I will. I will
All right, cool. Hey, make sure you join us, man. Make sure you check out all of our
watch some
podcasts.
Team A Team after this.
Make sure you subscribe and like the page. Give us some comments. Let us know how you feel about the episodes. And hit us up on the email too, and let us know. The round table part 2.
Oh yes.
Part 2 is coming up on August the 8th is when we're going to do it. We're putting together the round table right now. If you're interested in being a part of the round table, we always are welcome to have you come on, because we are going to have some space available for some new faces.
Are we gonna max it out at a certain amount of people?
Yeah, we're going to max out a certain number of people, but there's going to be multiple round tables. So if we don't get you in on this one, then we'll get you on the next one. So if you're interested, let us know now. So when we get ready to set up the next one, we already got your spot reserved.
True indeed.
All right.
All right.
That's going to do it for another Saturday Conversation. I'm your man, DJ Caveman.
DJ Ironmonkey.
We